Come on, you would know if you've seen it, man.
It's not just for the.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me just fine? Am I coming in clear? Good? Okay. Cool. Are you connected? You good? Okay, sweet. So we figured things out. Who was here for my Matrix class? Did you guys enjoy that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So if you notice, there's like a common theme. I like to do movies. And I like to find parallels between movies and this process of Krishna consciousness. So hopefully you guys enjoy this tonight. I'm really glad most of you have seen the movie. For those that haven't seen the movie, I'll try to get into some of the details here so that you can understand where I'm coming from. Okay. So let's go ahead, flip that next slide over. I like to have slides. I like to engage you guys as much as possible. I would have had music, but my wife said no. So I was thinking about the soundtrack to the movie, but they're just only like a minute and something long, so it would have been distracting. Like if it would have been like a sustained 30 minutes, like a nice soundtrack with like really cool background, like dramatic music, you know? Anyways, okay, so you guys can see Jim Carrey up there, right? All right, so in the movie, he says, "Good morning. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night." You guys probably remember that line in the movie. It's Truman Burbank is his name, and this is his signature sign-off from The Truman Show. But today, we're just not here to talk about movies. We're here to explore how the seemingly simple film is packed with profound parallels to the ancient wisdom of Bhakti Yoga as taught by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. How many of you guys know who Srila Prabhupada is here? Okay. Who hasn't heard of that name ever? Okay. So Srila Prabhupada, he's up there, and he's also directly behind you. So he's got your back and your front right now. Yeah. And he is the founder Acharya of our movement. He's the one that brought these teachings from the East to the West. And he spent pretty much his entire life, at least the later part of his life, translating these ancient scriptures into English. And so we have these scriptures, and this mic is really funny, huh? Just keeps. Okay. Yeah.
I would make it work. But
you can make it work a little bit.
Madhava's a musician. He'll know how to make it work.
I mean, I can, but this one's a little funky. Okay, there we go. Cool. So you see, just like Truman, we're all living in a carefully scripted world, but the script isn't necessarily written by us. So what if I told you your life, bless you, your ups, your downs, your routines, and your dreams might be a part of a grand illusion? And what if Bhakti Yoga holds the key to waking up from it? Dung, dung, dung. See, I like to enter those kind of dramatic sounds there. So let's have some fun with this. Let's keep it light, but let's also dive really deep. Okay, so section 1, I called it Truman's Illusory World equals Maya, right? You can switch the slide here. Okay, you guys kind of see an over like a sky view of the town there. So this is Sea Haven, the perfect illusion. In the Truman Show, Truman lives in Sea Haven. It's a beautiful town where everything is sunny, everything's predictable, and everything's smooth. But little does he know everything's controlled, pretty much. His friends, his family, even the weather. It's all part of a staged world created for a 24/7 reality show. Truman's entire life has been scripted from birth. And here's the funny thing, right? Like, he's the only one who doesn't know it. So like everyone else knows it, but he doesn't. Okay. All right, cool. According to Srila Prabhupada and the teachings of Bhakti Yoga, we're kind of in a similar situation. The world we live in feels real. It's full of routines. It's full of relationships and experiences, but it's actually an illusion created by Maya. And Maya, who's ever heard of that word Maya before? Okay, some of you haven't. Okay, so Maya is the material energy that keeps us attached to fleeting pleasures, distractions, kind of pulls us away from the deeper reality of who we really are, our spiritual nature. This is Maya. Maya has a tendency of doing that. Now, Maya is not evil, she's just doing her job. We can get into that later. But let me try to explain it with a simple analogy. Think of Maya like a Hollywood movie set. You walk through what looks like a perfect town, but when you peek behind the facades, you realize they're just painted walls. They look solid, but they're actually hollow. I didn't plan that, I swear. The material world, in the same way, it looks real and it promises happiness. But actually, when we chase after it, we find it's pretty empty. There's fleeting pleasures that never quite satisfy us. And see, that's the thing, right? It's like fleeting pleasures. Yeah, there's pleasure, but it's like trying to grab a bunch of sand in your hand and you ever try to, the tighter you hold sand, the faster it just kind of slips out your hands? Yeah, that's how the fleeting pleasure is here in the material world. So tonight, instead of you guys asking me questions, I'm going to ask you guys questions. Is that okay?
Yay.
Who's afraid of being put on the spot here? Okay, I'll try to be mindful. All right. So just like Truman, have you ever felt like you're living in a routine that feels too perfectly scripted? Anyone? Or seriously, who feels that way? Like life's just like, man, what am I living? You know, could it be that your life is maybe being guided by forces that you don't even realize? Is that possible? Raise your hands. Yeah, possibly. Okay. Do you feel like maybe you're being a little bit distracted by like the shiny facades of Maya as well? Is that a thing? Is that possible? Okay, I think so. I mean, I've been there and I'm still there, right? We're all there. Okay, cool. So there's this actual beautiful quote from Srila Prabhupada. It talks about Maya, and he says that Maya is always alluring, but its nature is temporary. I'll say it again. Maya is always alluring, but its nature is temporary. The real substance of life is spiritual. And that is where true satisfaction lies. Beautiful, beautiful quote by Srila Prabhupada. The cracks in the illusion is what I call this next section. The cracks in the illusion. And I guess you can kind of say that it's Truman's awakening. Now we can go ahead and switch that slide. What do you guys see up there?
My favorite bit is the light.
You guys remember that scene when the light just falls? There's a little insight into that light up there. You guys, someone read that.
Serious?
Yeah.
I see the rest.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Wait, the actual text.
Yeah, the actual text.
My favorite bit is the light that follows the sky near the beginning. The writing reveals that it's a specific star, and the lighting rig above, Sirius, the dog star, is brightest in the night sky.
Yeah, I found that quite entertaining. That's quite interesting. So we can call this next section is Truman's awakening. He sees this in the movie, right? One of the lights fall from above. Now you're outside. Can you imagine? You're outside and all of a sudden you see this massive light just fall from above. Like, where is this light falling from, right? Really interesting. Okay, so Truman's awakening, when things just don't add up. So this is the point where Truman begins to sense like something is off in his world. First, a stage light literally falls from the sky. Then a radio station starts announcing his every single move. You guys remember that scene? That's so funny. Yeah. And then on top of that, he sees the same people circling the block day after day. The same people at the same time every single day. Suddenly, the world he thought was real begins to show cracks, and he starts to begin to question everything. Now, a little bit of bhakti insight. This is where we begin to question the material world, right? Because bhakti yoga teaches that our spiritual journey begins when we start asking, is this all there is? It's a very powerful question. Is this all there is? Like Truman noticing the cracks in his reality, we begin to notice that material life doesn't fulfill us. Why is it that even when we achieve our goals, money, success, relationships, we're still left feeling unsatisfied? These cracks in our reality, quote unquote, are glimpses of the truth. They push us to search deeper beyond the surface of material existence. So imagine you're playing a video game. How many of you guys played video games growing up? Hardcore video gamer here. Like that was my life at one point, right?
We're talking about Mario. Though.
Yeah, like Mario, like even Sonic the Hedgehog, all the old school games. But even like PS3, PS4, Xbox, the whole nine, all the games. Duck Hunt. Oh my God! But you're old school. You got the Duck Hunt, like yeah, GTA. Oh man. Yeah, that game was intense. You guys remember that? Anyways. Yeah, that was the best. How many of you guys remember the Ataris?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, with the tapes on the side of the big T. Anyways, that was cool. All right, so imagine you're playing a video game where everything seems real. The characters, the environment, it's immersive. But then you see a glitch, okay? It's a pixelated error. Suddenly you realize you're not actually in a real world, right? That glitch is your clue that there's more going on behind the scenes. Life gives us these glitches. Have you noticed these glitches? These moments when we feel unfulfilled or lost. They're signs that it's time to look beyond the game and search for a higher reality. So I have another question for you guys. Have you ever felt like life wasn't adding up, that despite having, let's say, everything, something was still missing? Anybody? Okay. Yeah, could it be that these moments are you glitches? Signals that there's something beyond the illusion of the material life? Is that possible? Have you ever thought of it that way?
I mean, we're more like the Matrix.
Yeah, they're connected. They're certainly connected. Yeah. Yeah. I have another beautiful quote from Srila Prabhupada. He says, this material world is a place of illusion. And when we realize that our attempts for happiness here are like chasing a mirage, we are ready to begin our search for truth. So next slide, please. Who do you see up there? Yeah. So in the movie, there's this character, her name's Sylvia. And you know what? Sylvia and the guru, okay? Guiding us towards truth, all right? So that's Truman's guide. Her name's Sylvia. She's the truth teller, all right? In the movie, she's the one person who tries to break through the illusion and tell Truman the truth. She's that one person. She urges him to question everything and pretty much escape Sea Haven. Yeah. Though she's cast out of Truman's life at one point in the movie, her influence stays with him, always reminding him that something's not right. So she becomes the driving force behind this quest for freedom. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the guru's role because she represents the guru in the movie. So in Bhakti Yoga, Sylvia's like the guru. And the guru is the spiritual teacher, and he helps us see beyond the illusion of material life. There's got to be someone that's going to help us see beyond this illusion, right? And that's the guru. Now, Srila Prabhupada explains that without a guru, we're like Truman. We're just wandering through life, thinking it's all real, unaware that we're being tricked by Maya. See, the guru helps us recognize that true happiness isn't found in, all of these fleeting temporary pleasures of this world, but in realizing our eternal connection to Krishna, our eternal connection to God, to the divine. So imagine walking through a dark room. Okay, it's pitch black dark. You can't even see your hand in front of your face, right? Thinking you know the way. And all you keep doing is just bumping into walls. Has anyone ever woke up in the middle of the night? You got to go to the bathroom really bad. You don't want to quite turn the lights on, but you try to find your way to the bathroom. You've ever done that? Or is it just me? Okay. Yeah. You ever ran into a wall though?
No.
I've done it many times. Yeah. Kick the corner of the bed. You hit something. Yeah. Your freaking toe, your smallest toe. Yeah. Your pinky, or what do you call that toe on your pinky toe? Okay. Yeah. Painful. So this is you. This is you. You're walking through this dark room. You think you know the way, but you just keep bumping into these walls. Yes.
It broke my
Yes. Did you? Oh, God. That's the worst.
It's the worst.
One time that giant marble slab.
Did you?
Fell on my toe.
Did you? Oh, so you know why we have that giant slab there?
It hurt my toe.
No.
I had to go to the hospital. Actually.
Did you?
They had to drill my toe.
That's so interesting. So we have a giant, like a nice little piece of marble. And the reason we have it is because we used to have it for Gurudev because he'd want a solid place to put his tea or his drinks. Yeah. Anyways, so that's why we have it there.
Not to attack you.
Yeah, it's not to attack you, buddy. I'm so sorry.
It fell down.
Jesus. Krishna. Okay, so the guru is like, it's that person who turns on the light, okay? The guru is going to turn the light on for you guys, okay? Stop bumping into the walls. You're hurting yourselves here. Just flip the switch. That's the guru. So he's showing you the obstacles, right? Because there's obstacles, right? He's showing you the obstacles and he's guiding you towards the door. That's his job. Now, without that light, you'd keep stumbling and you wouldn't realize you're trapped. So you just keep bumping into walls, right? I mean, it'd just be perpetual, but you need someone to turn on that light to guide you through the obstacles of this world. And that's where the guru comes in. Now, this isn't unique, right? I mean, we have this in every kind of sector of our lives, would you say? I mean, in business, and if you've probably had apprentice, right? People that want to learn from you as an incredible tattoo artist. You show them the way, right? Kind of guide them. Don't do this, do that. Right? They may mess up.
Yeah, they always mess up.
But hopefully not on like a person, right? Yeah, for sure. I bet. Jesus. I mean, what do you practice on? I'm just curious.
There's really no substitute.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. All right. So I got another question.
Animals, right?
You know, it's funny. I saw like a pig. Someone had like a slab and they were practicing on that. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
I've seen that. That's weird. It's terrible. It's like just a slab of flesh.
Is it real flesh or is it?
It's real flesh. It's like a slab of a pig. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I got another question for you guys. Has there been someone in your life, perhaps a friend, a mentor, or a teacher, who's encouraged you to question reality? Anyone?
Question.
George Carlin.
What's that?
George Carlin.
George Carlin? Who's that? Explain.
An old comedian. My father was like, "This is why we question reality," because he's always telling you that you need to look into why everything's happening.
Sweet. So George Carlin. Awesome. Anyone else? Like a friend or a mentor? Anyone? Yeah? Let me ask you this follow-up question. Did you resist their message at first?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So here's one for you to introspect on. How might we be resisting the truths that gurus and guides are offering us? Just think about it.
Okay, what's the question? How can we look?
How might we be resisting the truths that gurus and guides are offering us?
You're saying truth or troops?
Truths.
Truth.
Yeah.
Comparing truths.
Truths. Such a tough word. Truths.
Truths.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the truth. The truth will set you free. Yeah, you can't handle the truth. That's another movie. You can't handle the truth. Maybe we'll do that one next time.
You should do they live.
Okay, then I have to watch it. That's next.
Wanting to change, not wanting to change.
Yeah, like they're trying to show you the way. They're trying to open your eyes, right? They're the ones flipping that light on, but you're resisting that truth for whatever reason. Maybe you're just not ready to hear that message. Yeah, exactly. Have you ever been in that situation, that scenario? Omar, you keep shaking your head pretty hard, man. Yeah?
Oh, you just stacking up the question.
You want to share a little bit about it? Or?
I don't know. I guess I've had a lot of random occasions where, like, people will tell me like wake up and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? What am I not awake? What's going on? Like random people that I haven't even met before. They'll say,
Really?
Like, what?
They'll tell you to wake up just randomly?
Or like, oh, I'm waking
Wow.
up right now. And then like sometimes I'll even get like a week. Like people like I can like travel to different locations. Like I can go to Florida,
Yeah.
Trinidad, like random place in Tucson.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I'll get a wink, and then someone talks about waking up, and it's like random. It's like,
Incredible.
Maybe you are.
So clearly you don't take these things lightly. You're obviously, registering these things in your conscious mind, and you're thinking about these things and how they might be messages, right? That's an interesting scenario. I think I have had a few of those, but not that I can remember off the top of my head. Okay, so going back to the guru. So the guru he's the one who opens the eyes of the conditioned soul. This is what Prabhupada says. Opens the eyes of the conditioned soul. I know that's probably interesting language. What does that mean, conditioned soul? Lost in the darkness of illusion, and shows them the path to spiritual awakening. This is another Prabhupada quote. So, go ahead and flip to the last slide here. You guys remember this scene? This is such an epic scene. Yeah, this is an incredible scene here. I love this scene. And I was looking for this particular gift to end these slides with, because it really is pretty deep. So, yeah, you got to watch it. You'll watch it with a new perspective. Yeah. So Truman's ultimate freedom, I call this next section, and it's walking through the door. So in the final heart-pounding moments of the Truman Show, Truman discovers a literal door to freedom. He stands on the edge of everything he's ever known. And despite Christoph, you remember who Christoph was? He was the director of the show. You remember that guy? Yeah. And despite Christoph trying to convince him to stay, Truman walks through. He chooses the unknown truth over the comforting lie. It's a moment of liberation. He leaves behind the fake world for the real one. It's such a sweet moment. I don't know if I was so rooting for him at that moment. I wanted him to walk through that door. So, since we're speaking about doors, let's talk about the door of bhakti. In bhakti yoga, the ultimate freedom comes when we choose to walk through our own door, leaving behind the illusions of the material world to embrace who we truly are, like our true spiritual nature. This door is opened by devotion, right? It's by reconnecting with Krishna, with God, and realizing that I'm not temporary. I'm in this material world, but I'm not part of it because everything around me is fleeting, but I am not. I'm actually eternal. I may have a body that's deteriorating every day, but the soul within, that's who I am. That's who you are. That soul is eternal, and it's a spark of Krishna. Qualitatively, it's the same as God. Quantitatively, it's not. Because Krishna is very, very vast, and we're very, very small, and the part can never be greater than the whole. You're 24 karat gold, just like the mind. So you're made of the same stuff that God is made of. So therefore, you're in this material world, you're trapped in a body, you're experiencing life through 5 senses. Well, 6 senses if you include the mind. But ultimately, you have a door to walk through because you're eternal. Now, Srila Prabhupada taught that when we surrender to him, now this surrender world is scary, right? When we think about surrender, we don't like that word. How many of you feel like it carries a negative connotation? No? You don't have an issue with that word?
No.
Okay.
I think it means to come over to the winning side.
I like that. To come over to the winning side. Yeah. Yeah. So that's exactly what it means. So when we use this word surrender, it means just that. It means that you're on the wrong side. Come on over. I'm inviting you over. And how do we surrender? Well, with love. We surrender with love. We surrender with devotion. Is it a mutual surrender? Is it just one-sided?
No.
Is God surrendering to us as well?
Yes.
How many times did you hear that in church?
Never.
I wish I would have heard that in church. It's a beautiful visual to really ponder this divine romance or this divine dance where every word is a song and every step is a dance, and Krishna's wanting to sweep you off your feet. This is what he does. This is God's nature. He wants to surrender to you. He's actually more. If you take 1 step towards Krishna, he takes 20 towards you. This is his nature. This is God. He's ready. Like Gurudev always says, he's cock locked and loaded. He's ready to throw down. Right? This is Gurudev's words. So try and make him proud tonight. Yeah. Yeah, Krishna he's the supreme romantic, like the quintessence of true romance, not just like the romance that we think about this in this world, right? Because like we romanticize everything in this world. But no, like he's like the epitome of romance. He's like the source of true romance. And he wants you. That's just the reality. He wants you. He's always had you. And you've always had him. So that's what it means to surrender. It's love. It's where we get to share this love. It's reciprocal, guys. It's not one-sided. You know? It's give and take. And this is the nature of relationships. So when we do this, we step into a reality that is far more fulfilling than anything the material world can offer us. Imagine being in a dream, right? How many of you guys have dreams? How many of you are avid dreamers like myself? Okay, I dream a lot. And sometimes the dreams are super vivid, right? Like you can, like all the details, you can remember everything, the colors, you know. Okay, so imagine being in a dream like that, where everything feels real until you start to wake up. The dream begins to blur and you realize you have a choice. You could keep sleeping in the false reality, or you could wake up to the truth. So Bhakti Yoga is that wake-up call, guys. It invites us to step out of the dream and into the light of spiritual reality. So, are you guys ready to walk through your own door? Yeah? Okay. What comforts of, let's say, the material world are holding you back? Listen.
Money.
Money? Okay. Money. Money's a big one, but do you think that money's a malleable energy, right? So is it really holding you back? Maybe it's our perspective. Maybe it's our attachments. But that's good. It's true though, right? Because the pursuit of money, the pursuit of success, pursuit of wealth and happiness and all these things, but all these things are good. They're not inherently evil. We can still pursue those things, right? In fact, in Krishna consciousness, we can dovetail our pursuits in service to God. So everything that we do, if we want to make a lot of money, well, we want to offer that to Krishna. We want to offer that to God. It's like, it's a process of purifying that process, that endeavor. And it's sweet because Krishna's not telling us to just run off into the forest, right? He's not saying just go and be an ascetic or something like that. He's not saying just go and deny your senses and deny everything that you feel. That's not Krishna consciousness. So, yeah, money's a big one though, because the way that society, well, I would say that the way that society brainwashes us into thinking that that's really all there is, right? So then,
Domestication.
What is it?
Domestication.
Domestication. That's a good one.
Only other way here is
Yeah, that's a good one. So, what truths? Again, there's that word. What truths might you find if you chose to wake up from the illusion and embrace the deeper reality of bhakti?
unconditional love.
Unconditional love. Go ahead, just throw it out there, anyone.
There's no happiness outside of Krishna's happiness.
There's no happiness outside of Krishna's happiness. Would you say clarity?
Oh, that's what it was. Keep changing my sheet good.
I was worried about you. Good thing you got here.
That was the lighting effect, guys. It was part of the whole thing.
You were in on it.
That was great. Clarity. Okay.
We got clarity on the lights. Now we know the truth.
Yeah. Okay.
Question?
So what truths might you find if you chose to wake up from the illusion and you began to embrace the deeper reality of bhakti?
Is this what you're afraid of or what you think you'll find if you go?
Yeah, what you think you'll find if you go through that door of bhakti. Yeah. What's waiting on the other side for you? What do you think it's waiting?
Everything.
Contentment? Satisfaction. Two words that kind of mean the same thing. Joy.
Krishna.
Love.
Love.
Desires that won't have you kicked in the face for having them.
Desires that won't have you kicked in the face for having them. Okay, I like that. Anybody else?
Your true self.
Your true, wow. Your true self. That's what I was thinking.
Cosmic giggles.
Cosmic giggles. Loving adventures. Right?
Reality.
Reality. How many of you think about these things? Would you say that all these things are good things? So why don't we walk through that door?
Fear,
Attachment.
Condition.
content, investigation.
Cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance, fear, attachment,
Ignorance.
ignorance,
Passion.
passion.
It's not always like clear how to walk through the door.
It's not always clear to walk through the door.
Or like how to, what that even means.
It's not always clear how to walk through the door. Hmm. Okay. So, would you say that we're all kind of in a way like Truman,
Yeah.
right? We're kind of living in this world that feels real, but it's ultimately a stage. Right? It's a stage. It feels real. But the reason why it's not is because it's temporary. See? It's not that you're not really experiencing this life right now. You are. But it's here today and then it's gone tomorrow, right? And that's what ultimately makes it like a stage, right? Because what happens with stages, right? You guys ever been to a show?
Curtains closed.
Curtains close. If it's a concert, what happens?
Stage gets put away.
Stage gets put away and then it's moved somewhere else to another state altogether. Yeah. See, this is the thing about Bhakti Yoga though, right? It offers a chance for you to wake up, right? See beyond the illusion of material life and to live in the truth of our eternal connection. We have an eternal connection. Each and every one of you guys, there's nothing that you guys had to do to earn or to deserve this eternal connection. It is just your inherent nature. It's your nature, guys. You are by nature eternal. You're full of knowledge. By nature, you're full of awareness. You're full of joy and bliss. This is your nature. How many of you feel like you're experiencing that nature right now? You feel like you're experiencing it in its totality? You're not.
I'm sitting right next to him. This guy's buzzing.
He's buzzing, but we're not. You know why? Because we're here. We're not experiencing it in its totality. We may get glimpses of it, little glimpses, you know. And a lot of times those little glimpses are just enough to kind of sustain us, right? And to keep us moving forward. But we got to be honest with ourselves, right? We're being bombarded by this material world. It feels real. I'm trapped in this illusion. I'm like Truman. The lights are falling from the sky, but I'm not questioning it. I'm kind of desensitized. I'm kind of walking through this life, just not really thinking about all of these little cracks that are in front of us, guys. They're everywhere. I guarantee you, you guys leave here today, you start thinking about the cracks, you're going to see them everywhere. You're going to see the glitches in the matrix. And you're going to realize this world is an illusion and it's temporary. And I've bought into this illusion. I've bought into it. I think I'm I think I'm this body. I identify with this body, so I think I'm American, right? Because I was born in America. You know, I come from an Italian family. I come from a Puerto Rican family. I come from a African American family. I come from a Mexican family. So we identify with all of these designations that are nothing more than just temporary designations. They're not your ultimate reality. They feel that way. That is the illusion. That is the illusion. The attachments, you mentioned money, that's a big one. But what about things like family? Right? Family's good. Right? Family's good. But is it always good? Right. So we get so attached with something that we can't see beyond that very thing. So Krishna tonight is imploring all of you to begin to question. There's something really powerful about just simply questioning. So I have some closing reflections. How many of you feel like you're ready to take that step though? Like, how many of you feel like, yeah, I'm willing to take that step? Okay. Yeah, that's important. Maybe some of you guys are like, you know what? What is it? Is it the red pill, the blue pill? The blue pill. It's like, it's gonna take the blue pill. I'm gonna stay in the illusion. I kind of like it. It's comfortable. I'm not ready to wake up yet. Okay. That's totally fine. If you're not ready to wake up, it's okay. You guys can still come. We'll still feed you. I promise. You can hear the kirtan. Take the prasadam, right?
It's also like a trapeze artist. You know, the people who swing on, they have to let go.
Yeah.
An example like that. So I was thinking it's scary and it's fun at the same time.
It's scary and it's fun.
Yeah.
How is it fun?
It's a whole new world. Adventure.
Like it's an adventure walking through that door or staying in illusion.
Walking through the door.
Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry. Misunderstood.
Letting go of the first trapeze bars.
Yeah.
Flying through the air.
Yeah. Krishna's on the other trapeze. He's coming. Let go and grab his hands, you know? Or like grab his feet, right? Because they do that too. It's like, yeah.
What do you think is like the proper attitude towards Maya? Because I feel like a lot of times it's like demonized, but
yeah.
Why can't we like act as the soul and acknowledge that we're like contained within a body and we're playing these roles, like the character of a son or a brother, and then like, you know, why can't we enjoy the role while acknowledging that it's illusion and still like, you know, being like a soul? Like, do you think we should like really look down on our roles, even though they're like illusionary?
Yeah. Why? Because they're the cause of your suffering.
I guess it depends on what you mean by roles.
Like by roles, you mean like all of these material designations that we're talking about, right?
Right, like we're playing the role of like the engineer or like the banker or whatever.
Sure.
And like although they're illusionary and like they're like kind of like just like concepts forever, and we're still in those roles and we're playing it.
Yeah.
Is it bad to like enjoy playing those roles, or like trying, like even though it's not real enjoyment, it's like why not have fun playing those roles and acknowledge that it is illusionary?
Would you settle for second best? If like the best thing was being given to you, would you want to settle for second best? If I said, hey man, look, I got $10,000 cash right now, dude, that's a lot of money. It's in front of you. Or hey, I got 10 million. You're gonna settle for 10 grand?
No.
But 10,000 is a lot of money. Hey, it's in front of you. You can count it. You can play with it. You can go buy a lot of stuff with 10 grand, but you're not gonna settle for that, right? Because there's something better. So it's not that $10,000 is bad. It's good. Could help you out, right? Provide for your family, provide for your needs, but there's something greater. And ultimately, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, and we see this, Srila Prabhupada says, that this world is a place of illusion, a place of suffering. Why is it a place of suffering? Why is it, put it this way, repeated birth, old age, death, and disease. This whole process is taking place over and over and over again. Now, has it ever, it doesn't sit right with me. Like I remember when I was young and I saw someone like dying and I had to go to a funeral. It just never felt right. It's like, why do we have to die? You ever felt that way? It's like, why is this person like, why do we die? Like, why do we die? Why do we have to go to a funeral? Why do we have to go to a wake? Why is everyone crying? It doesn't feel right. And that's a crack. That's a sign. That's a glitch. That's showing you that actually you're meant for something greater. You're eternal. And this process of having to go from one body to another body, this is what Krishna consciousness teaches, by the way. It teaches the transmigration of the soul. So anyone here believe in like reincarnation, stuff like that? Like, you ever heard of this concept, like reincarnation? So like, we don't believe you just get one life, like YOLO, man. That's it. Like, you just get one life and that's it. It's over. It's like, if you don't get it right in this life, it's a wrap, right? No, we don't believe that.
But YOLO sounds so cool.
It does sound cool. That's the shiny facade of the material world. It's very alluring. You know, you got Drake saying things like YOLO. It's, you know, it's very in. Everyone wants to follow the in crowd, right? It's just the way the material world works. But the reality is that we don't just get one life. We get many lives. Are we meant to continue taking lives, though, guys? Is that the goal of life? Is just we just keep transmigrating from one body to another? No, it's meant for us to transcend this material world. Why? Because ultimately, if you're here, you're going to reach a point where you're going to experience suffering. And God, Krishna, loves you so much that he doesn't want to see you suffer. He doesn't want to see you suffer. If you had a child, and maybe some of you do, you don't want to see your child suffer. You would do anything to prevent your child from suffering, would you not?
Yeah.
Isn't that what a loving mother or a loving father does for their child? Yes.
So then can you explain how Maya, her role shifts when you walk through the door?
Sure. Absolutely. So Maya is a servant. She's an eternal servant of God. She's not evil. She's not evil. She's here to wake you up, right? In a sense, like she's here to get you to the point where like, I've had enough, all right? I surrender. And then once she's done her job, she bows out. She bows out. She lets Krishna take over. So when you walk through that door of bhakti, she's done her job. At that point, she is doing her service to Krishna. And at that point, you're no longer under the jurisdiction of Maya. You're no longer controlled by Maya. You've risen above. And that is the point, that we can transcend these illusory energies. Yeah, go ahead. You got another question, dude.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My question, so more like, you know, say, so you have like a mother and you're like her son. Do you think it counts as illusion to act within that dynamic? Like, do you think it's a bad thing to like, oh, yes, mom, I'll do this because you're my mom? You know
No, I don't think that's bad. I think that's good.
But is that illusion?
It's in its ultimate sense. I mean, zoom out, right? It's like zoom out. Like if we zoom out far enough, yes.
Right.
Yes. It is. But is it bad?
Right.
Is it bad? Are we just supposed to abandon all these relationships?
Right.
When I said attachment to family, that might have been a little confusing. But it isn't bad. We can have love amongst, you know, our family, familial love. That's good. It's a good thing. Right? But anything in this material world that we become attached to in the ultimate sense can be bad. Because it blinds us from seeing beyond the illusion. And that was my point. If that didn't come through. See what I'm saying? So yeah, we're in these roles. So what do? We have to play these roles, man. Right? So you go to work every day, right? And you're working with your coworkers and it looks like you guys are both doing the same exact thing externally, but internally, your disposition and your intention is different. Your heart has been transformed. So now everything that you do is completely different. It's no longer material. It's now 100% spiritualized. You see how that works? So it seems mundane, but it's not. So therefore, that's how we transcend this reality. That's what it means to walk through the door of bhakti. You know? Because we're all chasing after pleasure, yes or no?
Yes.
Pleasure is a good thing, guys. It's not a bad thing. It's just, where are we getting our pleasure from? That is the question we need to ask.
Is it serving a higher nature or pulling this to a lower one?
Or to a lower one, exactly. Because we have these lower pleasures, and then there are these higher pleasures. Yes, my love?
Oh. I like that you said that because I was kind of wanting to bring it back to that because I see on roles and all these things that you're saying that it just depends on your intention and
Sorry.
how you go about doing those things. Like, I feel like, you know, when I'm in my role, right, and organizing, I'm doing all these things, I have fun. But I have fun because I have the understanding that I'm serving. You know, it's like a higher understanding. You're still playing your role, you're still doing your thing, but it's like a higher understanding, and that makes it fun. It's not because, oh, I'm like the best, I'm not like striving to be like the best organizer and like more passionate and I get stressed. And you see the difference? Like, it's, for me, I see it that way. It's more fun because it's like you're just serving, you're just being yourself, you're just
stepping into your like authentic power in that aspect rather than
Right.
trying to force
exactly.
unnatural like outcomes.
Exactly, or you know, or feeling the pressure of competitiveness and everything else that the world pushes on someone that's out in the world working.
Right.
So in that way, it becomes fun. It really does, and you are playing your role. So yeah.
I have a question. How have you guys experienced the cracks in your own illusions? Anything that comes to mind?
What?
You know how I've used this analogy of like cracks in the illusion or like glitches? So I'm asking, like, how have you experienced these cracks or these illusions? Yeah, go ahead. Nikunja.
Oh no, but I do, because okay, so traumatizing, because I have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of trying to say before, as far as like, I'm their mother, but I'm also bringing them into Krishna consciousness. I'm not like forcing them, like, this is what you have to do, and we have to give up everything. But I'm just kind of entering into their world.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting crack. So, you know, I do this, and again, I don't force them to do anything. They come to the temple, they go to devotees, they ask questions. So one day I'm like, oh, we're gonna go get ice cream. And then older brother asks little brother, oh, what's your favorite flavor? And little brother says, Krishna. And older brother doesn't even question it, doesn't say, that's not a real flavor. No, he's just like, cool, nice. And they do little things like that where it's almost like a happy kind of crack in the matrix.
Yeah.
You know, instead of them just kind of being like, yeah, I like chocolate or whatever, they're just like, I like Krishna. I just kind of had that realization, even though we're talking about ice cream.
That's sweet. Who said that? Best flavor ever.
I did a good job.
Yeah, you have. That's good. That's good. Yeah, anyone else? Yeah.
Did you have one about the crack? I didn't have one about the crack in the matrix.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, crack.
I do.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, like years ago, before I started practicing Krishna consciousness,
Yeah.
I kind of had like everything on the material platform that should be making me happy. And I had a job that I loved.
Yeah.
Money, and I was traveling the world, and
yeah,
you know, I had everything, but I was so miserable.
Mm.
You know, I was so unhappy, and I couldn't figure out. It was really frustrating. Like, I have everything. Why am I not happy? Like, why am I so unhappy? I have everything that's supposed to make me happy. You know, and I was just miserable.
Wow.
So that was like for me the crack.
That's a big crack.
There has to be, like, what am I missing?
Yeah.
You know, there has to be something more to this than just,
totally.
You know, enjoying my sense gratification.
Mm. I like that. Thank you for sharing.
I'll share my crack.
Yeah, please.
Tell me your crack. We're cracking. So,
Take a crack at it.
I will share my crack.
No, don't share that. Our neuroses don't match. Gurudev says that all the time.
So I was married for 10 years and I'm divorced now, but in that 10-year marriage, it was like, you know, we had the money, we were traveling, pretty much had like outside view was like the most perfect, you know, relationship per se.
Yeah.
And then one day I woke up and I was like, this isn't reality. Like there has to be more.
Mm.
And I asked for a divorce. Like it was, I had no reason. I was just like, I know there's something out there that's bigger than this.
Okay.
And that was my biggest crack. It's like one day I woke up and I was like, I can't live this life.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you feel like you had to divorce?
I think most of that came from the fact that I knew that I could not drink it with me.
Therein lies the key, yeah.
Like
It's
I
tough.
could not. They're like, come to the spiritual, because I knew it was spirituality. Like that was clear to me. And I was like, come this way, and he said, no. So that's when I made my choice. I was like, well, I'm not gonna sit around and wait for you.
Yeah.
I was happy, but I knew that there was more.
Absolutely.
So I jumped in the middle.
Krishna appeared. So that was recent.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was in January of this year.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. It's amazing.
I have one that's gonna like make me sound like a complete crazy person, but
It's all right,
I
whatever.
think that over.
There was like a solid like week or two where it felt like I was like seeing angels and different things. And then
Sure.
like I was convinced my cat was an angel and it was talking to me and I was communicating with it.
Okay.
And this is when I realized that our convictions about how we perceive the world like really shapes how we react to the world, like our relationship with it. But
Sure.
so my cat turned into an angel and it was like doing angel stuff and I would let it out and it would go like outside to talk to the other angels.
Doing angel stuff. I'm just curious. What does angel stuff look like?
Like go talk to the other angels. Like, sometimes I was
Okay,
like, all
okay.
right, needs to go and relay his message or something.
Okay,
You know,
sweet.
get it out.
Sweet,
And then
sweet.
but one day it was like,
Yeah.
when I started to see my cat as an angel, it like, I started to think about what is an angel, and I was like, oh, it's just raw intelligence. It's like a being without a soul that's just operating based off of like God's will. And then my cat like lost its soul. It looked like a mechanical like machine. And then one day I was like really like taken aback because other things started to just become like mechanical machines, like raw intelligence without a soul. But then I was like disturbed by it. And then one day like my cat split into two. It was like there's one with the raw intelligence, like no soul, just like the physical like object.
Yeah.
And then there was like my cat that came back and it had like a soul. It was like branched off into two different like things. It was like my convictions like somehow like shifted all in like a similar span of time. It was like
Wow.
Your
a
crack
weird
wins.
version of timeline.
Yeah, that's bizarre. And
Oh, wow.
but it's a legit crack. So it's a legit crack for sure. I mean, the fact that you were able to see the soul separate from the body, and you were able to just recognize that the body without a soul is just kind of like this machine, right? This like mechanized machine, right? It's a pretty deep crack.
I actually experienced something like that before.
Go ahead.
So like a long time ago, I used to use a lot of enhancing tools.
Sure. Okay.
For spirituality before I got sober.
Yeah.
And I was in a 48-hour period where I had done various substances, and I actually, like my friend, like they asked because I was on acid at the time, and my friend goes, "Is he on acid?" He's like the quietest, calm person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And this was like the very first like I think paradigm shift that I've ever really had. That was like it like broke me through, but like at the same time I don't necessarily suggest them for everybody because like if you aren't prepared to understand what you're seeing, but it could warp your mind. But at that time I had looked at my friend. I had watched.
Give me 1 second. Hold that thought. Go ahead.
There's a limited amount, but if anybody wants another plate, raise your hand. Okay.
Can we offer a donation towards this, and how do we go about that?
Go ahead and give it to me. I'll just give it to Christian plate. Do you want another plate?
I just want to.
Jesse wants one. Okay. Anybody else? Oh, okay. That's first class.
Okay, Donnie.
I had watched her. I was looking at a friend of mine, and he ceased to be his physical body. And when I looked at him, he was a spherical energy.
Mm-hmm.
And inside that spherical energy was the concept of who he was, dressed like how he was, like shaped like an embryo, with an umbilical cord that went into the centrifuge, the energy that was moving around him, almost like he was encased inside the womb of this energy. And that's when I realized that we aren't the body, but we were like this spiritual energy beyond the body. And like,
Wow.
further down into studying, that's when I found out about Merkabas and stuff like that, and understanding like.
But that was like
different bodies.
that was the crack that led you down
Mhm.
this path.
Mhm. And then after that, like, I kind of got rid of, stopped doing everything because I was like, dude, like, I realized, like, for one, I had some bad experiences, and then I realized, like, you know, like, after a while, the further I got into my spiritualism, you don't need those tools to access this stuff. Like, if you center yourself and you silence your mind, you quiet yourself, like you said, you start to practice active unconditional love and just oneness and connection with everything, including the divine source that is God and is Krishna, you know, and it being like, all this is already accessible to you. The only thing that's hindering you from access is ultimately walking through that door.
Yeah, that's right.
Opening that relationship.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, you can live here and live this life and enjoy this life, but it should never override that relationship. Because, like, if it overrides that relationship, then God's gonna have to break your heart through those situations to make you realize that He overrides and supersedes.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Actually, let's go.
Let me just get one in.
Yeah, get one in.
Sorry. I have a couple quick comments.
Sure.
And a question. I was just thinking, I didn't want to reveal your next class, but I was thinking about Groundhog's Day. Have you ever seen that one?
I have. I love that movie.
Same day over and over again.
Yes,
until you
great
become
movie.
A nice person.
Yeah.
Great class.
So Nadia, you're the reason why I did this class, by the way, because you made this suggestion to Radha Sundari, and then Radha Sundari made the suggestion to me, so I said, okay, let's make it happen. Let's do it.
That's so cool.
So-
it's my grandpa's favorite movie. He was
Well-
a physics professor.
I know.
There you go.
Um,
So maybe I'll take you on your next one.
yeah, Jack.
Yeah.
I also was thinking it's interesting, Sylvia. I love that connection. How
Yeah.
she is like guru in
That's
the
right.
movie.
Yeah.
And I don't really remember for sure, but it seemed like even with the light falling from the sky, I don't know, didn't really, what didn't really make that full connection until maybe Sylvia talked to him.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking like guru, like that's what we hear is in scripture. It's the most important thing.
Right.
Is to have that personal relationship with the elder teacher that can guide us. We need it. We have to have it, or else even the light falling from the sky
Exactly.
is not going to be.
It's not going to be enough to really just like have us really question what's going on. Like we'll just probably like for a split second we might think about it, we may ponder it, but then like, all right, everything's business as usual, right? And we'll just slide right back into the illusion, right? Because that's how the world operates. So how many people think it's weird to have like a teacher, like a spiritual teacher? How many people like find that concept a little strange?
I would say that I did before I was.
Yeah.
Before you went into.
Right.
Yeah. Why? Why did you feel it was?
Because I don't want anybody to tell me. I want to be the teacher.
Correct. Yeah. That's exactly what I was trying to bring out. So thank you for sharing that.
I mean, that's the whole thing about it. I remember when I first saw Guru, I knew my guru, but
Yeah.
I hated it. I was like, I don't know. I saw you guys bowing down to him.
Yeah.
You and Radha and
Yeah.
Chaitanya.
Never.
Thank you.
That's why surrender is harder than.
Yeah, exactly. So like, for example, you have this beautiful definition of surrender, which was, what was it again? Remind me. It's like
To come over to the winning side.
to the winning side. That's beautiful. Whereas some people, this is what they feel of surrender, right? It's like I'm relinquishing power. Like I'm giving up this power, and it's really just hard for a lot of people. So that's why I ask, like this concept or this idea of having a teacher, especially with spirituality, right? Because we think it's like innate in us, right? It's something that we can tap into directly, and we don't really need a via medium to be able to do that, right? That's kind of like the concept. It's like, why do we need a person to get in the middle of this thing that I can have with God directly, right? I used to think that too. I mean, before, but it wasn't like an impediment to like bhakti. It was just like, that's just all I knew, right? It's like coming from like a Christian background, right? Like most of us, right?
How can we show God our humility if we can't show one person?
Yeah.
That's what I've been learning.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the thing, right? So that's the thing. It's like, this is an act of humility, and humility isn't always easy, right? So to submit to a teacher is not always easy, because a lot of times we walk into a class and we think we know it all. Or like we're here to teach the teacher. But we can't grow that way. We can't learn that way. And there might be something that that person knows that we don't know. So it's until we actually inquire submissively from that teacher, we can't learn anything. Right? Makes sense.
Kind of, if I may, segues
Sure.
into the question that I had.
Yeah.
Because we could see it either from the teacher
Yeah.
or from God himself or herself. What about when we feel, I mean, we know that surrendering is a process, right?
Yeah.
And that we realize we're not very good at anything. So why would we be that good at surrendering right away? But my question is, when you have the experience of feeling like you're trying to surrender, to, because we know ultimately we surrender to Krishna, we bow to Krishna, and eventually he bows to us, and that's love.
Yes.
Coming together in humility like that. But what about when we're having the experience, when we feel like we're really trying to surrender, and Krishna's just still pulling out those arrows and just letting them fly,
Mm.
How do we
So
what do you think about that?
It's a 2-part question. So the first question is, you said you're not good enough to do anything.
That's what I feel like I'm
Well,
learning.
so that's an illusion right there. So that's Maya. Because you are good enough.
Well, no, not good enough, but not very good at anything. Like in Krishna culture, we see that this art of Krishna culture is so deep and so vast that we may think,
Yeah, but see, that's
until we learn. I'm just saying, there's lots of layers of how sophisticated, how much nuance there is.
you have something that only you can give Krishna. It's unique. It's unique to you. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me just finish this thought. So that's very valuable to Krishna. What you have to offer is extremely valuable to Krishna. In this material world, we're constantly trying to compare ourselves to others. And then we compare our service to others, even in this culture. That's not healthy. So you don't need to compare yourself to anyone. Right? You're your own individual, and you have ways that you can express your love and devotion to Krishna, unique ways. So this is important. This is very important.
Yeah, that's totally true. But I'm also just speaking of the levels of humility and the levels of learning how much more and more we can please Krishna when we refine our ability. But I know it's like simple at the same time. Anyways, what about the second part? Because that's the first part, right?
So remind me
That
of the
was my
second.
main-
Remind me of the second
When it
question.
feels like we're surrendering somewhat or attempting to, yet Krishna still seems to be going full force with his like attack, with his onslaught, Basically, the karma doesn't stop just because we, go into Krishna consciousness or.
No, the karma doesn't just stop. It doesn't just like, a train doesn't just stop. A fan doesn't just stop oscillating. Right?
Mm.
If that fan is going like full speed and we stop it, it's going to do this for a while, right? Until it stops. So that's what we're experiencing. That's all. That's it. It builds character. How bad do you want it?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I look at it. That's how I approach it. Because I've been in that situation too, where I felt those actual feelings. But it's like, I want this. I'm determined, and I have full conviction that Krishna is taking 20 steps towards me when I take one. I have full conviction in that. So therefore, I don't question that, right? Because I have that conviction. You can have that conviction. You can take that to the bank. So the fan's just oscillating. It's just slowing down.
And things are beautiful, they are challenging, right?
Yeah.
Like we go back to the video game, like who wants to play on easy, It's not,
Yeah, no one wants to play on easy. You ever been to a gym? You ever worked out?
Yeah.
How do your muscles grow when you take them to failure?
Yeah, you always have to
Cover it up.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah,
always
you-
have to take it to the next level. And
If you take it to failure, that's where you're going to see the massive gains. Think about that for a second. It's very deep. It's very powerful. So I was just talking about this with my brother earlier today about something totally different, but it still applies. You know, the challenges or the, you know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Prabhu.
We were talking about surrender. Bhakti Thakur says that there's six realities to surrender. I find them very powerful. The first symptom of surrender is that one feels themselves very, very fallen and humble. That's a symptom of surrender. One is that they accept everything that is favorable for executing spiritual life. So if you want a success in anything, you have to accept, like if you want to become an athlete, you have to give up McDonald's. If you want to do anything, if you want to be successful at anything, you should probably give up McDonald's.
Yes.
But if you want to be good at a good athlete, you have to give up certain foods. If you want to be, anything, there's certain things you have to give up, and there's certain things you have to accept. Like if you want to be an athlete, you have to accept exercise.
Yep.
You have to accept training. So in the same way, if you actually want success in spirituality, which means becoming unlimitedly happy, unlimitedly peaceful, you have to accept what's favorable, and you have to reject what's unfavorable. That's a simple surrender. And I don't accept that because I'm surrendered to the goal, which is Mame Kam. Krishna says, Mame Kam Sharvam Bhaja, that I've made Krishna number one. That when Krishna becomes the main priority, now I've fully surrendered. And then one of them is feeling yourself meek and humble. One of them is always understanding that Krishna is our Lord and protector. Like that whatever I do, Krishna is protecting me. Having that complete confidence. The surrendered person never ever even second guesses the fact that Krishna is protecting them. Krishna is always protecting. Krishna is always maintaining them. They feel like Krishna is always their maintainer.
Even within reversals.
Yeah, the maintaining, because whatever reversal may be is just the dualities. And then one is that one doesn't keep a separate interest. So if you want to surrender, you can't. I mean, even in war, surrender means now I've joined or I've let go of my own personal interest, and now my resources are going to the interest of the opposing party. That's surrender. So when you're keeping your own desires, your own interests, you have your own plans, that's our problem in this material world. We want to enjoy, we make our own plan, we make our own scheme to think how we're going to extract pleasure. And then what happens is we become frustrated because we can't extract pleasure out of the material world. It doesn't work. Eventually we become frustrated. Based on our karma, we may have better luck than others based on our karma, but you have your own plan. And when you have Krishna's plan, now my interest is the same as Krishna's, so that eliminates this thing called envy. Because when I see that someone else is serving, I'm happy because I'm on Krishna's team. You have to be a team player. You actually have to let go of false ego. So that's a symptom of surrender, that you become on Krishna's plan.
Krishna's team. We should get some jerseys.
Team Krishna.
Team Krishna.
And then lastly, you always have faith in Krishna's mercy.
Oh.
So that's another big, huge one that a lot of people, I see they don't understand that for someone who's really surrendered, they always understand that they're a liberated person actually, because they have faith that they know that Krishna's mercy, or they have so much faith in Krishna's mercy that they're going to go back to Godhead. Krishna's going to deliver them, and that's not to say that I can't do anything. I don't chant. I don't do any sadhana. I don't do any spiritual practice, but I have faith in Krishna's mercy. That's actually a false ego. But when you actually do give your effort, apply yourself, and you surrender to the representative of Krishna, the spiritual master, we know we're chanting our rounds, we know we're doing good rounds, we know we're taking prasadam, we know we're engaging in service. Those things are so powerful. We have faith in them. We believe that we're gonna be okay, and so we don't have any worry. That means you're fearless. So actually, spiritual personality becomes completely fearless because he knows that he's finished with material energy. He's exiting this. He's enlightened. simply by his surrender to Krishna. So when you do surrender, if you actually surrender, if you really understand the meaning of that word Sharanagati, then the result is, Krishna says, or Sutta Goswami says, Janiyat Yashu, Vairagyam, Gyanam Chiyadahaitukam. There's immediate symptoms of someone who's actually on the spiritual platform. One is that they become detached. They're detached. They understand not this body. They're no longer attached to this and that, and they're no longer hankering for this and that. And they become full of knowledge. And they don't get down onto the bodily platform and lament and hanker. They become aware of themselves as spirit. So, but the most important out of all those 6 symptoms of surrender that Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives is, are all important, but we should not keep a separate interest from that of Krishna. When you just make Krishna's interest your interest, you're good.
That's what it means to walk through the bhakti door. It's like, you're letting go of that illusion.
Also, I want to say, where we can perhaps end the class.
I think we did already, right? No?
Thank you.
Thank you, Cyberland. See you guys. And hold on, there's a quote. There's a very famous quote, actually. I should probably sign off with this. It says, "Good morning. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night."
Yeah.